Maple Grove High School for an early season boys basketball showdown in the Northwest Suburban Conference. It's a matchup of unbeaten teams as 8-0 Armstrong comes in to take on the 7-0 Crimson. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, these teams have been tested a little bit so far, but they know tonight it's really going to be the test. Playing a team that's just as good as them, top 5 team, undefeated, doesn't get a whole lot better for a December game.
Well, Jay, sometimes we have to sell in the pregame, a big matchup, right? We don't have to do any selling tonight. You got 2 top 5 teams, number 5 Crimson Tide, number 3 Armstrong. It's going to be a heck of a game. Both teams undefeated. Both teams have played some pretty good teams, with Maple Grove beating Hopkins in a tournament. I know Hopkins has some injuries, but that's always a tough task. So, and of course, both teams are 4-0 in the conference, so they want to be on top tonight. So a lot at stake. Should be a really fun game.
Armstrong, a team with maybe a little bit more experience. Some of Maple Grove's top guys are younger, but these days guys are playing so much basketball that to a degree I think that's wiped out a little bit.
I think you throw experience out, Jay, especially when you got guys that have been playing as 9th graders, 10th graders. Brad Davison, of course, being the starting quarterback as a sophomore. He's like a senior. So I think it comes down to talent and who's going to execute. Armstrong being on the road in a really good, fun environment. It's going to be a great test for them early on in the season.
Let's talk about key players to look at in tonight's contest. We're picking the guys in the middle tonight. I think it should be a very interesting matchup, a matchup of contrasts a little bit. Armstrong's Sean Burns goes about 6'5", but he's their biggest inside guy. He's having a dynamite year for the Falcons.
I absolutely love his game, Jay. He's not that tall, undersized as a big guy. Great first step. He can get to the basket seemingly at will. He's 19 points, 9 rebounds a night. I mean, that's automatic. Put it in the bank. He's got to use his quickness, his athleticism. The other thing is he is a stud on the offensive rebound. So they got to do a good job of boxing him out, keeping him off the glass, making him maybe make some perimeter shots, keeping him away from the paint.
And for Maple Grove in the middle, they've got Reed Nico, a junior at 6'9", a guy that I don't know that there's a better shot blocker in the state. He's certainly one of them, and keeping him out of foul trouble is going to be a key tonight too.
And it's going to be key because he's got to stay out of foul trouble. Averaging 3 blocks, hasn't been scoring as much as I think some people would like to see. Only 9 points, but 8 rebounds a game, 3 blocks. It's really size versus quickness on that matchup. We'll see which one prevails.
For both of these teams, obviously there's a lot more big games coming, including holiday tournament play, but I think both coaches right now are just looking at this as a great measuring stick, win, lose, or draw here tonight. Obviously, you're just going to find out what you really do have.
I always say that early on, if you lose, it doesn't matter. It's a teachable, learnable moment. You want to see how your team plays on the road if you're Greg Miller, and if you're Nick Schroeder, you got these young guys. You're 7-0, but this is your first true big test. So win or lose, it's what you learn from it, but it's always nice to be atop the seedings, though, definitely.
Armstrong won both meetings last year, including a 1-point overtime win here at Maple Grove. The Crimson will try and turn that around here tonight. Stay tuned, it's Armstrong and Maple Grove basketball next up on 12 Sports. Welcome back here to Maple Grove. We are just underway. Crimson got the opening tip and then turned the ball over, trying to throw it inside to Reed Nico. So Armstrong gets the basketball now as Trey Tate brings it up court here for the Falcons. Here's Sean Burns coming out to get it with Nico on him. Tried to dump it inside, knocked away, but True Thompson will fire. True Thompson will hit for Armstrong.
Well, True Thompson, of course, the son of former Gopher great Daryl Thompson. Talked to Daryl before the game. He said he expected big things out of both of his boys tonight, and that's a great way to start the game.
Davison trying to dump it inside to Coyote Awashika, but just knocked away. As you get a look at the starters, Tate, Alati, Nolan, Thompson, and Burns. Pickford, Hutchison, Davison, Awashika, and Nico for Maple Grove. And they tried to go high-low a little bit there, but Nico called for the walk as he shuffled him before dumping it off to Awashika.
Well, it's clear that the Maple Grove is coming out early, trying to get the ball into Reed Nico, knowing that he's got that size advantage. That was the right decision. He was going to dump that off for a layup. He just shuffled both of his feet.
Burns gets it over to Thompson. Now back inside to Sean Burns. He will look to drive it, and Nico will be called for the foul, and that's something that Maple Grove doesn't like to see, obviously, and Burns looking to attack inside. He didn't have a whole lot going there. I'm sure it's one that Nico would felt like he didn't do a lot to draw that one, but Burns will be at the line.
But that's something Reed Nico, for him to fulfill his talent and his ability, he's got to be smarter than that. He's such a big part defensively for the Crimson Tide. He's got to just contest that shot without getting his body pressed. Don't even give the referee a chance to make that call. And I can guarantee you that Greg Miller is going to say, let's attack him every time we can get him 2 or 3 quick fouls, get him out of the game, and it's a completely different team defensively.
Burns not able to finish, misses a pair here. Now Pickford back out, Awashika, and they get into their offense. Hutchinson trying to put it inside to Pickford, but Eladi gets out there for the steal and nearly threw it into the Falcons bench.
Well, so far 3 possessions for Maple Grove and 3 turnovers, Jay.
Thompson with it out on the wing. Maple Grove all man-to-man so far. We may see a few switching defense both teams. Nolan gets it over to Burns, blocked by Nico. Pickford nearly coughed it up there. He's been a little bit ill this week. That's been really going around at a lot of schools. Nico's going to take the face-up jumper, but too strong, and Thompson up for the board.
Well, a good look there, but I think that's a shot that Armstrong will live with. Reed Nico 15 feet away from the basket, where his size really doesn't matter. That was a contested jump shot, which he can knock down. He's shown that ability, but still, that's a tough shot.
Thompson forcing one there, and it almost went. Nico grabs it, and now Brad Davison. Sophomore standout point guard, had a great year as a freshman last year. Here's Hutchison, who's been hot early this season, and he drills it for the Crimson. Jack Hutchison.
Well, that's what he does. He's only a sophomore too, Jay, and they came off a nice down screen. He got his feet squared, and that's where playing with a guy like Brad Davison is so nice. The defense focuses on him so much, and if you got great shooters around him, they're going to get a lot of open looks, and that's a great way to start the game, getting your first shot to go down.
Burns dishing to Eladi, and had it partially blocked on the way up. Here comes Davison. Tried to go to Pickford. Pickford didn't continue all the way like Davison thought he was going to. There's a look at Greg Miller, the Falcons head coach, and obviously been through a lot of big games in his tenure, including playing in the state finals in 2007. This is the type of team that has that kind of ability. You know, a lot of things can happen between now and end of the season, but at least it wouldn't be out of the question to say that they could be a state tournament caliber team. And both sides here tonight, they're not in the same section.
Well, you can't get off to any better start than 8-0, ranked number 3 in the state. So they've certainly done all that's been asked of them so far. They got a good mix of athleticism, smart basketball players, inside out, guards, big guys.
Burns trying to put it on the floor and attack Nico, and then dribbled it off his leg. So look at Nick Schroeder, 5th season for his tenure as the Crimson head coach and a one-time teammate of yours, Ryan.
And he's doing a great job. He's a 2-time section coach of the year. He was a great shooter, a smart basketball player. And really, he's built this program. I mean, these kids, this is a big deal. Maple Grove basketball is on the map. And a big part of that is this team's success and his coaching.
Pickford trying to get it to Nico, but taken away. Here comes Burns. He'll go left with it. Trey Tate, the left-hander, no good. And Davison out of the pack with it. Davison looking to attack. Layup is good.
Beautiful move in transition. You don't really think of Brad Davison as being that fast, but he's extremely fast with the basketball. Great body control, great players. Just have the way they know how to contort their body, take contact or avoid contact in that situation. He's a really smooth, smart basketball player. And he doesn't play like a sophomore either, Jay. And I think a lot of that comes from the confidence of being the starting quarterback, too. You know, only as a sophomore. So he's a leader, already a captain, too. We could sing his praises, I think, all night long.
Thompson kicks it out to Tate and around to Eladi. Open for a 3, but won't go, and Pickford grabs it. Hutchison shot fake there, and he'll go back out. Brad Davison's going to take the long 3, and that's good.
Yeah, that play was really made by the shot fake. Draw defender, unselfish basketball, and it's no coincidence. This is a good shooting basketball team from the three-point range. You know, Nick Schroeder, obviously a great three-point shooter. He stresses that.
Nolan's one-hander from the baseline won't go, and here comes Davison back the other way. So after a slow start, Maple Grove heating it up, leading 8-2, make it 10-2 as Davison's nailed 3 in a row.
Well, big players make big plays in big games, Jay. And he sensed the magnitude. They got off to a slow start. He's just taken over, got a great layup in transition, knocked down a three there, knocking down a nice mid-range pull-up. And, you know, Greg Miller doesn't see that. And that was one of the things we talked about. You know, and take a look, just explosive play to the baseline, stops on a dime, that step back. I mean, that's just a really great individual move. You know, how would Greg Miller defend Brad Davison? We talked about the big guys matchup tonight, you know, in the pregame, but really this game is going to come down to Brad Davison. He's got the ability to score 30-plus points, averaging over 9 assists, so he's not selfish either, but you got to take the ball out of his hands, double team him, trap him, deny him the basketball, whatever it takes, because he's really the engine that makes that team go.
Jerome Dixon checking in for Armstrong out of that timeout. He's another veteran player for them, and more than likely will be a starter for much of the remainder of the year, but right now coming off the bench. Number 35 for the Falcons. And Austin Matheson is in for Maple Grove, number 23. Also in for Armstrong, Benny Williams, 23. Burns gets it to Williams. Tried to punch it inside, but it went off someone's foot, and Davison will come away with it.
Yeah, you got to create space when you're trying to do a post feed like that. He passed it from about 2 feet away. You got to retreat a little bit, get some space so there's some room to make that entry pass.
Burns will be called for the foul as he tried to step in and cut off the drive of Davison there. So 1 foul on each of the big guys so far, and only 1 team foul on both teams too. Nico giving it to Davison. The drive down the lane, no, but a foul on the Lottie of Armstrong.
Yeah, that was the right call. And Brad Davison, I like his you know, his thought process tonight. He's looking to score, and he could have dished that one off. He's feeling it. He got to the rim, and that's what happens too. You overplay a really good guard. They're smart enough to know, Jay, you go back door. He got a great lane to the basket. And Alade tried to step in and take a charge. It was just underneath the basket. I thought that was the right call.
First free throw rolls around and drops for Davison. 1 more coming here. And he makes a pair, so Davison already with 9 quick points. It's 12-2 here for the Crimson. Dixon bringing it up now.
Well, 12 unanswered points too, Jay. After 3 straight turnovers to start the game, this Maple Grove offense has certainly picked up some steam.
Williams showing a little nerves maybe here on the road as he just fumbled that one away. Now Davison wants a 3 from the top, wouldn't go. Nico kept it alive, but the Falcons out of there with it. Williams slams on the brakes. He'll give it to Dixon. Alade faking the shot. Now drives in a little closer and gets it to go.
A beautiful move. His shot fake, 1 power dribble, jump stop. Shot that ball with a lot of confidence too. A nice looking mid-range game. Big basket to stop the bleeding here for Armstrong.
Trying to punch it inside. Awashika left it short. His follow-up try no good. Looked like he might have gotten fouled. Now here comes Burns looking to attack on Nico. The block, but a foul.
What a great play. What a smart play by Sean Burns. He saw Reed Nico back, and a lot of people will retreat against that. He attacked him knowing that he was going to get that shot challenged, but maybe he could draw a foul. And a really smart play, and unfortunately for the Crimson, that's going to be 2 early fouls on Reed Nico. And that's probably going to force him to come out of the ballgame.
Fearless play there by Burns, and you're right, that's a very smart play to, you know, yeah, the Maple Grove fans are all excited thinking Nico had the block, but now you got him with 2 quick fouls.
And even though he's not converting these free throw attempts, the magnitude of getting Nico out of the basketball game, I think, is a really big positive for the Falcons. And you can see, too, his explosiveness. I mean, he cocked that ball, Jay. He wanted to ram that one down Nico badly, but a very heads-up play.
And misses them both, so he's 0 for 4 at the line. That's the bad news, but the good news, if you're Armstrong, is you do have Nico to the bench. Timmy Bishop's in number 14, so obviously they go much smaller now with Awashika playing that lone post role here. Bishop punching it inside. Awashika goes with the jump hook, but no good. And Nolan the rebound here for Armstrong. Falcons really cold early on, but down by 8.
That was a great look for Awashika, too. He got the ball, had space. It was just a simple right-hand turnaround jump shot. He's just got to knock those down.
Burns turnaround try won't go. Austin Matheson the rebound.
And so you'd like to see Burns with his athletic ability, his jumping ability, not to fade away on that shot.
Nolan with the steal here for Armstrong. Evan Nolan had it ripped away, but a foul call coming up. Matheson tried to cut him off and will be whistled for the personal.
Let's see there. Nice defensive play, definitely got some arm on that. No question about that. And it's, a lot of times that's a hard play for a referee to make. And they go by appearance. And if you're a good offensive player, you know how to sell that. Even though it might have not have been a big foul, he sold it. Smart heads-up play for Evan Nolan, who's a very good free throw shooter.
Nolan's free throw is good. Pickford returns here for the Crimson.
And Jay, I think the loss of Reed Nickel is going to hurt Maple Grove more defensively. Offensively, I like when they go smaller and they align Davison with 3 or 4 guys that can knock perimeter shots down. It becomes really hard to contain them. And I like, too, what Armstrong's doing. They're doing a little 1-2-2, 3-quarter court zone defense. They're trying to get a ball in the corner where they can trap and maybe slow Brad Davison down, not let him get a full head of steam going towards the basket.
Coach Miller said this could be a twofold thing. One, you take the ball out of Davison's hands some, and he thought that maybe Maple Grove has some other good guards, but maybe wanted to test how they could handle it in traffic. But Davison makes him pay right there. Well,
and anytime you're playing a zone defense, Jay, if you can get your playmaker, your best player, get him the ball in space, right in the middle of that zone. And Brad Davison went right there, caught it, no hesitation, turned around and shoot. And he's a good shooter, but I think his best talent is getting to the basket and his playmaking. But he's shown the ability tonight. He's knocked down 3 perimeter jump shots already. If he's knocking those down along with his basketball IQ, along with his playmaking, he becomes really one of the best players, I think, in the state, even as a sophomore.
Back out to Pickford. Now Davison. Goes to the corner, Matheson. And then intercepted Williams. A nice read dropping down from the top of the key there. Dixon looking to create a little bit. Now to Elati. Nolan's going to let a long 3 go, and not good, and Davis on the board. Nolan definitely capable of making that, but it came maybe a little quick in the offense there. Dangerous pass up the sideline. I think this defensive change has succeeded in at least making Maple Grove have to think a little bit about how to attack.
It stopped the momentum, and you're seeing some of the other guards with some questionable passes. Armstrong able to create a couple of turnovers off of it, and there it is, right down the middle. That's excellent execution. You can go to that short corner. The zone defense rotates. Brad Davison cuts right down from the high post down to the basket. Gets a wide open layup. So far, Armstrong has had no answer for number 34.
And there's Dixon knocking down a 3 for the Falcons.
Well, big shot. He's one of a couple players averaging in double figures at 10.6. He's a very good shooter, a good athlete, a good defender, too. And that was a big shot for Armstrong.
Pass tip, but still gets there. Now Davison inside, finds Awashika. Nice job of sealing off. A nice find by Davison.
Great seal by Awashika, but even a better pass by Davison. And he actually looked the defender off. He looked like he was going to skip that ball, knowing full well where he was going to go with that beautiful pass. And just like a quarterback in football, sometimes in basketball you throw a guy open.
Dixon has it get away from him here. Here's another look at Jerome Dixon getting that high screen, stops and fires.
Right in rhythm too. And here's a pass. Take a look at his eyes. He's going to look like he skips it. And he gets Nolan to cheat up a little bit. And ball goes right behind him. Excellent pass.
Well, we said these teams are off to great starts, and here's a look at the rankings early in Class 4A. You got Apple Valley and Champlain Park and Armstrong are right up at the top, Minnetonka, Maple Grove, Eden Prairie at number 6, and a lot of undefeated teams. I mean, there's a lot of games to be played. We got Apple Valley and Champlain Park, in fact, are meeting in coming up in a week. So,
and here's what I think is more important than the state ranking is, you know, just the way you rank in your conference. You know, both of these teams already 4-0. Seems like really early in the year to have 4 conference games done already, but you know that's the bragging rights. That's what you're most concerned about is the conference you're in. The state rankings, does it really matter at this point of the year where you're ranked? But it certainly makes you feel good. It validates your quick start.
Crimson inbounding here as it comes into Davison. Swings it way across and out of the corner. See if they'll keep Nico out for the rest of this half, especially if they keep the lead like this. Hutchison popping free, and he hits. Defender got there, but Jack Hutchison burying another 3 here for the Crimson. They go up 21-8.
And that's so big because it spaces the defense out. It forces you can't leave him. And it's just going to open up their inside game, and it's also going to open up Brad Davison later in the game.
Nice drive and reverse layup there for True Thompson, his second bucket of the game. Davison works it to the middle, back out. Hutchison's going to let another one fly. This time won't drop, and Thompson the board.
Even though that didn't fall, that was a smart play. That was a good play. Hutchinson has already hit 2 of them. He was in rhythm. That was a great offensive set.
Miss by Dixon. Thompson misses on the rebound, and Davison will grab it off here for the Crimson. Bishop coming the other way. We'll bring it back out top to Davison. Davison cutting between defenders. We're going to get a foul call on, it looks like Thompson will be whistled.
Now you can see Brad Davison. Sometimes when you're driving, a guy tries to take a charge, that knee hits your knee or your thigh, and it can hurt. It smarts bad for a good minute or so. But again, excellent move, and you can see how quick he is at getting to the basket, and he's very decisive, Jay. When he wants to go, he's going to get there.
Mitchell Rexted, number 5, is in for Maple Grove. 44 is Race Thompson, who picked up that last foul for Armstrong, the freshman younger brother of True Thompson. And there's a baseline pass, and Hutchison gets the layup.
Well, they tried to double Davison that time. Davison was looking over to Coach Schroeder to get a set or to get a place call in, and all of a sudden the double team came, and he saw it, and again made the excellent pass.
There's Burns attacking and able to lay it in off the glass. Had a bit of a slow start here. That was his first bucket and first points.
Oh, that's his game, Jay. That mid-range, 1 or 2 dribbles, getting to the rim. You know, and he got those 2 early fouls. He's missed 4 free throws, so he definitely could have had a bigger number in the scoring department. But that's what they got to do. Armstrong needs him to be in that 18 to 25 point range, I think, tonight to win on the road.
Davison drives and dishes. Rexted from the corner, and that's good.
Well, you can see they put shooters in each side, and that defender's got a choice. Do I stop Davison, who's been killing us so far with 13 early points, or do I stay home on the shooter? And whatever decision to make, it's basically pick your poison, Jay.
Here's True Thompson in and out from the corner, and Davison leading the break here for Maple Grove. Drops it back to Pickford as pull-up won't drop. Bounced away, though, and right to Davison. Little fadeaway. He was out of room there and had to toss one up.
Well, he doesn't make bad decisions very often. He had Rexted wide open for a 3-pointer and opted to shoot it instead.
Rexted will be called for the foul on True Thompson there, as he got a lot of body. Pickford the block, but it was definitely a body foul, and True Thompson will go to the line. And Thompson misfires. We've had some less than stellar free throw shooting from the Falcons so far here.
And you can see a nice shot fake. And I think, did they get the foul? Was that called on Rexted, I think, with the body?
Yeah, he definitely got him into the body there.
I think Awashika got the ball clean on the block, but I definitely think there was some body.
Second free throw is good there for True Thompson, so he goes 1 out of 2 at the line. 26-13 Crimson, approaching the 5-minute mark to go here in this first half.
Well, keep an eye. Brad Davison is out of the game. Let's see how this Maple Grove offense functions without its engine, without its leader.
Awashika not been able to get that one to drop. A couple little jump hooks in the lane, but wouldn't go, and now Dixon bringing it up for the Falcons.
He's missing those, Jay, but you can see how big and strong he is. He can get any position he wants. Those are great looks. Those are going to fall later in the game. He's got to keep working to get good position.
Nolan powers it up inside and drew the foul there, and see, it might be on Hutchison coming over to help out there. Nolan you know, he was doubled when he caught it, but he realized that he had a little bit of an advantage and could take that ball up inside.
Yeah. And Nolan's a big kid. He's 6'3". He's strong. He's a good shooter. He's crafty. You can see some body moves, some shot fakes. He knows how to score the basketball. We did a game early on last year, Jay, and he had about 25 in that game. He's capable of putting up a big number.
Davison back in after a short breather here for the Crimson. Nolan continuing the trend of struggles at the line for the Falcons tonight. He gets 1 out of 2, same as he did last time. Has a total of 2 points. Burns will check back in. Race Thompson is going to check out here for the Falcons as they will come with some pressure here. I think they would like to succeed in getting the pace up a little bit in this one. They often are good at scoring when they're creating things off their defense and getting out and running a little more than they've been able to so far. Davison to Awashika, trying to reverse it, and was fouled by True Thompson there. Kind of got bailed out because I think he was expecting a lot more pressure on that side, and he was going to go reverse around him and really was left with not much of a shot. But their hips collided enough to draw the foul.
Well, he could have, I think, just finished that on the left side of the rim there. But that's the one danger when you're playing a point guard who's really good with the ball, is you pressure him, you double team him. If he's able to break it and you have no safety net in the back, if you will, no free safety, strong safety back there to defend the basket, that's what a great point guard can do.
Awashika's second free throw bounces around and falls in. I don't think he can duplicate that if he tried, but it'll count. 27-14 Crimson. Tate back in handling it now for the Falcons. Running a little 1-4 set. Nolan getting a screen from Burns and now dumps it into Burns. Burns spinning on Awashika but left it short.
And that's a great move, and great footwork, a power spin. And again, do you see how he's fading away, Jay, when he's releasing that? He's got to trust in his athleticism and just jump straight up, and that ball would go in. That'd be a tough move for anyone other than maybe Reed Nico to get a piece of.
Rexted cut off there, gets it to Davison. He tries to split the double team, now whips it into traffic, and it will be out of bounds. That one was definitely a force there. There wasn't a lot there.
Well, did you see how he stepped through that double team that was coming? I mean, that's a really heads-up play. And that's a one downfall, I'll say, of Brad Davison, is he can make so many great plays. Sometimes he tries to make a spectacular play when he could have just pulled up for a jumper there. He had a couple of guys on the perimeter open. Instead, try to make really fit a really tight window in there, and it was a turnover.
Nolan getting it to Burns in traffic, and he kept his balance and scored it.
And again, that's a shot where if Reed Nico is in the game, that shot is getting blocked. So I hate to keep going back to that, but that's why that was such a big second foul.
Davison too hard off the glass with that one. Here comes Tate. Swinging it over for Burns. It was tipped and knocked away, and Davison almost had it. Let's see who touched this one last. It's going to be off of Davison's foot, and it will be Falcons basketball.
Yep, that's the right call. That ball bounced off of Brad's left leg there as he was diving to the ground, so smart call.
See, he in hindsight probably should have tried to pick that ball up instead of dribbling it, but you feel like he got the opportunity for a break. Under 3 to play here in this first half. 27-16 Maple Grove. They've led almost all the way. Armstrong at the first 2 points, but then Maple Grove kind of taken over, and then they've played a little even since then. Burns at the edge of the lane, out to Tate for 3. No good there, and Davison. I'd have to say Nick Schroeder's probably reasonably pleased at the way they've been able to keep Armstrong off the offensive glass. That was one of the first points he brought up when I asked him, what do you have to do tonight?
Well, especially a guy like Sean Burns who, can get 5 to 10 offensive rebounds a game. They've done a really nice job of boxing out, limiting him to one shot. Let's take a look at that.
True Thompson, I'm thinking he's got a little gripe there. Davison led with the left hand, and then there wasn't really a whole lot of contact from the defender either, but they a good player makes you commit to a play like that, and
And don't forget this too, Jay. As a good player, there were times where I never got touched and I'd yell, or you fall down a little bit, and that's theater, that's drama, that adds, to make an easier call for the referee.
Davis in the miss, but Awashika is there to follow it up and lays it in.
Sean Burns went up, had a great athletic move of the block there, but then his guy Awashika came in and filled for the second chance rebound there.
Burns down low to Alati, but he was slow to get rid of it. Now comes back out to Tate. That won't go. Tate, though, tracks the rebound down. Alati passed up a three. Dixon won't, and he hits.
Oh, there's that second chance points we were just talking about. Armstrong able to get a second possession, swinging it around, and Dixon knocked it down. Nice offensive play. Again, there's that offensive rebounding play, a big role.
Close to a 5-second count there, and now Hutchison won't go. Alati the rebound, and Maple Grove starting to cool down a little bit. Armstrong a chance to cut this to single digits. Down low to Nolan. Nolan working it in, now back out to Alati, wide open for three, but he can't hit. Armstrong, I think, missing some shots that some of their guys would normally make. Maple Grove, I don't think, can feel comfortable that those shots just aren't dropping now, because they might later.
And they're good misses too, Jay. They're not bad misses. They're rimming in and out.
Davison looking to attack. Nice hoop there. Shielded Burns away with his body.
And that's such a tough move. You're falling down. He finger rolls it. You got to put some extra spin on it from that angle. That's just a great move. Great finish.
And before the shot, we'll get a hold. See if it'll be on Davison or Awashika as they doubled up on Burns. This is a tough hoop.
And he's actually lucky, Brad Davison, that he didn't get called for an offensive foul there. See that left arm, Jay, kind of extending out. The degree of difficulty to make that is unbelievable. I think he created his own contact in his own space on that shot.
Official getting and telling Awashika and Burns, all right, knock it off. They're kind of chest to chest, trying to. Now they get it into Burns, goes right at the hoop, a block, but a foul. And it looks like it'll be back-to-back fouls on Coyote Awashika.
Yeah, that was the right call. There was some body in that. How often do you see that too, where two guys are drawing and then it leads to a foul a few seconds after? That's a smart play. Sean Burns has done a great job tonight, Jay, of going right to the basket, creating fouls. But guess what? You got to finish it by making the free throws. He's 0 for 4 with 2 more coming his way.
Burns still can't buy one at the line.
He's got to bend his legs a little bit more, get some arc on it. It's a pretty flat looking free throw. He's got good form. He's just got to get the ball up, give the ball a chance to go in there. Maple Grove fans, let him know he's 0 for 5 tonight from the free throw line.
Make it 0 for 6, so he's done a good job of getting fouled, but not doing a good job of making it hurt. Davison will throw to Awashika, now Hutchison. About a half minute to go. We'll see if Maple Grove might want to hold for one shot up by 12. But Armstrong, other ideas. Oh, Awashika, didn't he travel there? I thought so.
It certainly looked like a great pass by Davison. That's a play. Awashika's so big and strong. He's got good hands. He's got to be ready for that. So he's got to just catch that and go right up. He was lucky there. It looked like he got away with the travel.
Alati missing the three. Crimson rebound, 7 seconds to go. They're up 14 and trying to increase it. Davison looking to get open. His pass, though, is tipped. Turnaround try blocked, and we have come to halftime here. And a very good first half for the home team here as Maple Grove will take a 33-19 advantage to halftime here. So certainly a very good start on the home court for the Crimson. And Armstrong will get a few minutes to try and shore some things up here as they try and battle back and get some things going their way heading into half number 2. Let's go down to the third member of our crew tonight, John Jacobson.
All right, thanks, Jay, with Greg Miller, Armstrong head coach. And Coach, you're getting some open looks. Are you happy with the shot selection? The shots just aren't going, or do you want to change things up?
Some of the shot selection has been pretty good, but we seem a little bit wound tight and a little nervous. I didn't think we would be, but yeah, we can't throw it in the ocean right now.
Brad Davison's had a huge first half for Maple Grove. Anything you want to do defensively different on him?
We try our big A, which usually works against most people, but he really sees the floor and he's kind of picking it apart, so we're going to have to make some adjustments on that.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Greg Miller, head coach of Armstrong. His team trailing Maple Grove here at halftime. We'll take a timeout. Jay and Ryan will be back with more of our halftime here. You're watching high school basketball. Armstrong Maple Grove, live on Channel 12.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Welcome back here to Maple Grove. A lively crowd on hand here tonight for a matchup of top 5 teams, and Maple Grove leading Armstrong 33-19 after the first half, and we'll take a look at some first half highlights in this one. Starting with a jumper from the right side after a deflected pass. Drew Thompson, one of his 2 buckets. Maple Grove lighting it up. Hutchison burying a couple of threes for the Crimson in this first half. And this time gives it back out, and Davison will launch the long 3. Davison had a tremendous first half here for Maple Grove. Whether it be shooting, driving, or passing, here's his step-back jumper from the baseline, able to knock that one down. And he cuts free into the middle of that zone, gets a nice pass there from Matheson.
He did that a couple times against that zone. He found the middle there, Jay. He was able to be very productive.
Dixon hit a couple of threes off the bench. It was just felt like Armstrong, whenever they started to get something going, it just didn't continue. There's another 3-ball from Hutchison. Later in the half, I thought Maple Grove, wasn't finding quite as many clean looks. Armstrong did a little bit better job, but you see they got shooters that can spot up in the corner like that. And here's Dixon doing the same at the other end for the Falcons.
Well, we showed a couple of Falcons makes there, and here's Davison again, a tough bucket. And he did it inside out. He did it passing the ball. I mean, he has his hand on about 95% of the scoring from Maple Grove.
Dixon was 6, Drew Thompson with 5, and Burns held to 4 because of poor free throw shooting. Davison 15, Hutchison had 8, and Awashika with 7 points. for the Crimson. We will come back with more of our halftime and then jump into second half play here on 12 Sports. You're watching a good one here, Northwest Suburban Conference boys basketball. Maple Grove 33 and Armstrong 19.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
That's slow. That's slow. That's slow. Look, he's blushing.
Welcome back here to Maple Grove as the team's getting a chance to take a break, get a little adjustments going, and let's go down now to John Jacobson.
All right, thanks, Jay, with Crimson head coach Nick Schroeder. Nick, nice performance by your team, up 14 at the half. Your thoughts on how the first half went?
I thought we rebounded well. That's the key. Rebound our own end with a guy like Burns, keeping him off the glass. I thought we did a nice job. Thought we took care of the ball as well. They have that three-quarter court trap. Thought we took care of it, got some easy things out of it. If we continue to do that, we should be in good shape.
Not really foul trouble for you, but your two bigs each have 2 fouls. Is that something you talked to the guys about at halftime?
Well, that's okay. We'll be fine. We got 3 more in the second half. We got 6 more, actually, so we'll be good. Those guys are working hard against a good player, so they're going to pick up a couple.
Finally, your former AAU teammate Ryan Iverson said he was and still is a better shooter than you. Thoughts?
That's complete nonsense.
All right. Thanks, Nick Schroeder. Ryan and Jay, back up to you.
All right, here's your chance for a rebuttal, Ryan.
Well, God, coaches can sure lie, can't they? No, Nick was a great shooter. He was a phenomenal shooter, and I like his stance there. Hey, we got fouls to use. We're going to be okay. We're not going to change what we do. Where they're playing a good player, and he's right. When you're guarding a good guy, you're going to be prone to commit some of those fouls. And to be honest, I thought they looked almost better when Nico was out of the game, and they got to surround Davison with maybe a couple more shooters on the perimeter. And that's when we saw some of those threes start to fall.
Well, I think it's something that's, a valuable thing to have when you have our Shika as kind of a second big post player who can defend other teams, top guys inside. They can interchange, they can spread out the fouls, as Nick said.
Well, and to that point too, Jay, I almost think Shika matches up better against Burns. They're almost similar size, similar athleticism, so I don't think they lost a whole lot in a different game or against a team like Osseo from last year when they had Tyson, a big guy like that. That's where Nico could really be a huge factor. But he's out in the game. He's got 2 fouls. He's just got to play smart. He's got such long arms. He doesn't need the foul to impact shots defensively.
True Thompson will inbound here for Armstrong. They're definitely capable of playing better than they did in that first half, and they're going to try and show it here in the second. Alati comes out to get it, trying to turn the corner on Davison, and there's Nico erasing that one.
No, that's what he does, averaging 3 blocks a game. I mean, look at him come from the weak side here and just says, get that right out of town. You know, and when you're playing against a great shot blocker, you got to always know that's what they want to do. Ball fakes, shot fakes, get them in the air. If they could pick a third foul up really quickly on Nico, that could be big for them.
Nolan driving it to the hoop, puts up the runner, no good, and Nico snatches the rebound down. You know he's got to be fired up to get back in there after he sat for so long, and he's made his presence felt early in the second half. Davison driving it, goes with the scoop, no good, but Nico's there for the follow-up.
And that's big for his confidence, too. Davison drives, big guys come over to help, he cleans up the boards, and that's what he does. That's his game. So far this year, that's how he's scoring a lot of his points. Offensive rebounds and passes from Davison.
And Awashika will be called for the foul, so they do start out with him on Burns rather than Nico, but he quickly gets a third foul.
Well, and I think that's a smart play. Again, you're seeing, you know, just Sean Burns attacking the rim, and he's going to draw fouls, but I like the defensive switch, putting Nico off of Sean Burns and allowing him to come over on the weak side to pick up some of those block shots.
Nolan kicking it across to Tate, too strong with that one, and Hutchison grabbing the defensive board. As we thought, Nick Schroeder was pleased with their defensive rebounding.
Yep, one shot.
And Davison turns it over. Tate with the steal. Back for True Thompson, a blocking foul on Davison. And Thompson will head to the free throw line.
Well, and again, Armstrong, I mean, they've gotten good looks, Jay. First half, they got good looks. Second half, they've gotten good looks. They just have to convert. Let's see. You know why I think Brad didn't get that call is he started leaning back before the contact was. Because it looked like he had the position there. If he would have taken that contact a little more square on the chin there, I think he might have gotten the benefit of the call. You know, it's a new half, but the same theme as True Thompson misses a free throw. You know, we didn't talk about it at half, Jay, but they were 3 for 12 in the first half from the free throw line. That's 9 points. There you go. There's great graphics. Our crew does a great job getting those up there. But those are huge. Those are free points. If you make all your free throws, this is a totally different ball game.
Thompson gets 1 out of 2, 35-20. Jared Martinson, 31, is in there for Maple Grove, and Davison back-to-back turnovers again, forcing one in. Here's Nolan for the layup.
And that's Armstrong. We talked about it too. Yeah, there's an offensive foul on Brad Davison. And that's going to be his, I believe that's going to be his second foul. There's a turnover, trying to force something there, Brad was. And a nice outlet pass by Sean Burns, and I love Nolan finishing it. That's their basketball. We talked about them wanting to pick up the pace a little bit, getting it up and down, and you can see, watch Brad Davison just plow right through True Thompson. That's a great call.
Nolan pops the jumper, won't go. Davison grabs the rebound down here for Maple Grove. Armstrong just trying to get, you can sense it, trying to get something going, trying to get some jump. They pitch it inside to Nico, looking to attack on Burns, partially blocked. He gets it right back though and scores.
Oh, he stayed with it there. The initial shot got blocked. It was deflected. He was ready for it, caught it. He kept the ball up nice and high. And I think at his highest point, I don't know if anyone can block his shot, but that was an excellent job just staying with the play and finishing it off. He's got 2 quick buckets here to start the second half.
Alati pitching it in. Here's Burns attacking, and no good, as Nico had switched onto him that time.
Well, he had a great move. He just didn't get his legs underneath him, had no spring or release on that shot.
Turnaround no good. Nico tips it over to Pickford, and he lays it in. His first bucket again. Taiwan's been sick, and he's a good ball player. Not been a huge factor in tonight's game, probably in part because he's been ill.
Well, and you know who made that play was Reed Nico right there, keeping it alive, tipping it over to Pickford. And, you know, Pickford averages in double figures, so he's a capable scorer. Hasn't scored a lot here tonight, but, you know, I think the difference right now is the big guy, the big fella, Reed Nico, coming out. A couple of buckets, a couple of blocks we saw, some rebounds, a nice tip there. So he's really come out and, you know, That's what you want. You leave early, you don't play a lot. You got to come out and be hungry, be smart, make a difference. And Reed Nichols has certainly done that.
Nolan will inbound here for Armstrong as they trail it by 17. They were down at 14 at halftime and trying to make an early push, but Maple Grove's answered pretty effectively here. So Tate will bring it into the forecourt here for the Falcons. Burns with Martinson defending him now. Martinson trying to do a good job of fronting him. Burns has position down low though, spins, fires, but won't drop, and Pickford rebounds.
I like the move. That didn't go in there, Jay, but he didn't fade away. He jumped straight up. That was a great shot, great move. And the theme continues. They're just not, shots just aren't falling, I think normally do.
Nice back cut there from Martinson, and he gets the layup. Good pass too, but an excellent job of using the defender's aggression against him there by stepping to the bucket. And Martinson with a steal, giving them some valuable minutes here off the bench with Awashika sitting. Pickford for three, won't drop. Good block out by Alati to keep Nico off the glass. Now Burns attacks, scores.
He's so good in transition. 6'5", he's a big kid. But you can see one dribble, that's his game. When he can just one dribble and get right to the rim, he's a great finisher. And they're going to need more of that. If they can create some plays defensively, get going transition, that's going to help spark them.
Davis into the hoop, and Burns will be called for the body foul, looks like.
Well, just take a look at how quick they get going. An excellent job by Trey Tate to start the break. Gets his big man, Sean Burge, who's running hard. And he's so good in transition, Jay.
Davison goes to the free throw line here and buries it. Awashika will come back in. Nico will get a little breather here for the Crimson. Race Thompson, 44, and Williams, 23, coming in now for Armstrong, along with Dixon as well. Davison not bothered by the giant Brad Davison face being held up in the crowd there.
Why didn't they have those when I used to play? I would have loved to have big faces of yourself in the crowd. But with that free throw, that puts Brad Davison over his season average, averaging about 16.9. That gets him up to 17.
Martinson will be called for the foul there as he came over the back of Burns. But I tell you, Martinson,
it's been a spark.
He's come in and just made plays for them. And, you know, obviously he's in there mainly to see if he can keep Burns out of, you know, keeping from fouls on the other guys and just giving him some minutes, but he's come in with a lot of energy. Here's Dixon firing it up. That won't go, and Davison for the board. Davison works his way into the front court. Left hand, no good. Another foul on Burns, back to back. That should be number 3 on Sean Burns. Davison, very smart about using his body. Now, if you're a defender there, you're saying
he's great in a contract, and he's also, you're seeing that lead arm kind of push into the defender. Now, Greg Miller's going to have an interesting decision. We'll see if he takes his star, Sean Burns, out of the game with 3 fouls. And he looks like that's what he's going to do. But a smart heads-up play by Davison. You go right at the kid and force the referee to make a call.
And it isn't so much that you have 3 with this amount of time remaining, but it just feels a lot worse when you get 2 of them within a minute like that. So they kind of sit him down, calm him down, and get a breather.
Well, here's why it's a big deal, because he's out of the game. They're down 20. He's their best player, their best scorer. You need him to make a run. Otherwise, you're going to have to get someone else that's maybe not used to stepping up, scoring the basketball. You got to start closing this gap. You got to start getting this under 10 points. So you have time to make a comeback, make this a good game.
Williams, a drive, can't finish it though. Martinson grabs the rebound for the Crimson. Pretty explosive move, but too hard off the glass for Williams.
A lot of jelly and no toast there.
Rexted gets it to Awashika at the high post. Now Davison swings it across. Martinson fakes the 3, and then it went off his leg as he started to try to drive on True Thompson.
Well, it looked like he had an open look there if he didn't hesitate. And if he would have just kept going, he had the baseline open.
Hutchison comes back in here for the Crimson. They can have a little more leeway, I think, with subbing how they want to. When you're up by 20, you can work things the way it best suits you, whereas Armstrong probably has to feel, as Ryan said, a little more pressure to get back in it. Alati with the miss, and then the follow-up try, and True Thompson will go to the line.
Yeah, great crossover right there. Looked like there was some contact. And take a look at True Thompson go up in the air. He was rising up there. And they gave him a shooting foul on that too. Excellent aggression. And that's Armstrong basketball. True Thompson, you know, really he's a junior, but he averages about 5 rebounds a game. They got a number of guys that can really attack the offensive glass.
Third foul on Davison too, so that's kind of big. And now Nico will come back in, and Bishop comes back in. So somebody other than Davison obviously is going to have to handle the ball against this trap.
Well, this is where Armstrong can make a run right now. Down 20, they got a free throw coming. Let's see if they can just trim this lead down, get it down to 10, 12 points without Brad Davison. On the flip side, Maple Grove, who's going to be the playmaker here? Who's going to create plays? Who's going to create offense? They got some good shooters. They got Reed Nico down low, but you know, really Brad Davison is responsible for such a big portion of this team's offense, whether he's scoring it or whether he's shooting it. There's your answer right there, Jay.
Nice lob by Bishop, and Nico able to finish it there. It wasn't the dunk that they're looking for, but he did a good job. Nice touch on that ball, just dropping it in. Now Race Thompson, that one's swatted by Nico, but Race Thompson was able to save it, and it went off of Armstrong ultimately there as Williams tried to save it for a second time.
Take a look at Nico coming over. Great timing. He's got good timing, doesn't he, Jay? You see a lot of these big guys, they mistime their jumps. He waits till the last possible second. He's got those long arms. And then a heads-up play, too, by both those guys. Good hustle. But that alley-oop, you know, I always say if I ever got a breakaway and didn't dunk, our fans would yell at me. But I always said, how much is a layup worth and how much is a dunk worth? They're both worth 2 points. Or at least that's what I said. Maybe it was because I couldn't dunk that well.
Watch Nico in practice, and he dunks virtually everything. And it's not to be showing off. It's to, you know, remind himself to be aggressive, to attack.
It's a habit. You force yourself to be strong. It's a great habit to pick up and to do in practice, because guess what? It's going to carry over into the game.
Bishop called for the turnover there. He's not exactly sure why, but Pickford will come back in for the Crimson. You do get the feeling they're just trying to tread water when Davison's not in there, don't you?
I was just going to say, I don't think Maple Grove's come out and taken control of the second half. There's a lot of opportunity out there. It just seems Armstrong hasn't taken control of it. They haven't seized their opportunities. Again, missed shots, missed free throws. They just got to string some momentum together here, get a couple of plays, a couple of series where they can just trim this lead down.
True Thompson driving it baseline and had to throw it up over Nico, but Burns grabs the rebound. Martinson will be called for the foul right there. In Martinson's defense, that's a tough one to grab a rebound on when you're really not sure where that shot's going to fall. It didn't hit the rim or the backboard.
That looked like that Dr. J move that you see where he goes underneath the backboard, only a little bit wild, a little bit long. That was a difficult shot by True Thompson.
And Nico made that one happen by, you know, forcing him to shoot it over him too, even though he kind of got beat to the baseline a little bit. Here's Dixon to Nolan in the corner. And that's kind of been Armstrong's night. Besides the missed free throws, there's some shots that those guys are capable of making that just aren't going in.
Well, it was a great pass by Dixon. He drove and kicked, found Nolan. We've seen Nolan make that shot 100 times.
Nico looking to attack, and he scores it. So Nico with 4 buckets here to start the second half.
He's 6'9", Jay. He's big and strong. He keeps the ball up high. No one can block that. He needs to do that every time. That was a great move.
Missed by Dixon. Burns tried to get the rebound, but it went off him.
Watch how he keeps that ball up high. He's got guards coming down trying to pick at it. No one can go up and get that. He does one power dribble. The release is at its highest point. That's a great move, and that's one that not a lot of high school players are going to be able to defend.
And True Thompson trying to come up with the steal. However, he is on the sideline. It will be Crimson basketball. And what I like too about what Nico did that last time is using the glass. That's you know, you've got a lot more margin for error if you get an angle where you can use the glass there.
Great effort, excellent effort. True Thompson on the floor. You can see his shoulder did hit the line. And those Maple Grove fans weren't shy about letting them know that too.
Yeah, we had a lot of extra officials there on the sideline there wearing those whiteout T-shirts here for Maple Grove.
See, you got Reed Nickel. He's calling for the ball down there. He just scored. He's caught a couple of baskets. You got to feed him the rock. Play inside out. It's going to open up everything else that they do.
Pickford handing it over. Nico, the hoop and one. Davison to Pickford to Nico.
Well, and more importantly, that's going to be number 4 on Sean Burns. Look at that spin. It looked like Ricky Rubio's kind of pass. And Nico just powers through, playing. I love when big guys play like big guys. And he caught that one strong move, was able to rip through the foul. And Sean Burns is going to pick up his 4th foul with over 10 minutes left to go in the second half.
With the margin where it's at, though, I'm thinking Armstrong might just have to say, you know what, we've got to have him out there, whether it means he fouls out or not.
Yeah, what's the point of saving him to get down 30, you know, at that point? Yeah, Reed Nico, I don't believe he scored, Jay, in the first half. He's got 10 points here in the second half.
Burns a nice up and under, but left it short. Nolan's there to clean it up.
And again, you know, that was a great move by Burns, up and under. He's got to learn to bend down, get his center of gravity, get his lift on his legs when he shoots that ball, because he's got some great moves.
Back out, Hutchison for 3. That spins in and out. Rebound grab there by Nash Brambilla, who's in there now, number 11 for Armstrong. Nolan for 3, but no, not going to count. A foul on Burns for an illegal screen is going to have him disqualified on fouls. And it also takes away that 3-pointer. That couldn't have went much worse for Armstrong.
I mean, isn't that just their luck tonight, Jay? The one shot that actually falls, Nolan comes off ready to shoot, and you got Burns. Looked like he was moving his shoulder like that. A pretty easy call. You extend that arm or that shoulder out. And that's a big, you know, that's what we were just debating. Do you leave him out there with 4 fouls? At this point, Greg Miller rolls the dice, and that's what happens.
So Burns will foul out with 6 points. Frustrating night for him and for the Falcons overall. Maple Grove, you know, I think you hit it right on the head too, Ryan. In the second half, it isn't really that Maple Grove's come out and been spectacular, but they've just done the things they needed to do to keep the lead, and limiting Armstrong to 1 shot, not letting them get, you know, really on any kind of run, taking care of the ball well enough that they're not seeing Armstrong running back with some 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s.
Reed Nico has outscored Armstrong's entire team in the second half. You know, Armstrong stat-wise, they average 75 points a game. They're capable. They put up over 100 points in a game earlier this year. So they're very capable of putting up big numbers, but you know, it's just been one of those nights. Some nights the ball doesn't fall, and you got to figure out different ways to score, whether it's, you know, getting transition or getting to the layup, back doors, whatever you can. It's just been one of those nights, and it's going to be that much harder now that Sean Burns has fallen out of the game.
Davison bringing it up. Here's the lob for Nico, and he has to save it in. They got in his way enough. They had that set up, but Armstrong saw it coming. Now back out. Brambilla will line up a 3, and that won't go. Pickford snatches it down for the Crimson.
And you're going to see Maple Grove. They're going to be content to slow it down, walk it up, take some time off the clock. You're up 24 with 9 minutes left. There's no urgency here to get a shot. If you do, make sure it's a good one. I'd like to see him go inside again with Reed Nico.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, and he missed it. He will get it back, but Nico would like to have that one to do again, obviously.
He missed that, Jay, but did you see how he took that power dribble forward with his body, creating some space? I mean, that was a beautiful pass and a good job by Reed, too, to create space. He just missed it. That's what he's going to make 9 out of 10 times, if not more.
Davison, since they were a little jammed up, so he brings it back out now to Pickford. Missed it. Nico's tip wouldn't go. He tries again and finishes it.
That's not fair. He's just trying to pad his stats. He wants a double-double tonight. That's all that is.
Tate for 3, and he hits. Tate getting his name in the score column for the first time on that one, but might be too little too late here. 8:20 to go. 52-29 Crimson. Pickford, oh, we're going to have an offensive foul on Davison, and that'll be his 4th.
That's where a jump stop comes in. You got to get all that momentum going. Smart play defensively to get in front of that, take the charge. You can see, yeah, I believe that was Nolan. Looked like a little acting on that too.
That's a play on, I think.
But it was called. If you come to a jump stop, Jay, you eliminate any chance of getting a charge. But I want to go back to what Greg Miller said at halftime. He said, we came out, we were a little panicked, a little nervous. Sometimes now the game's kind of out of hand a little bit. That's when the shots will start falling. Isn't that funny how that works? The pressure's off a little bit. Now you relax and you're just playing basketball.
Yeah, it takes away the feeling that every decision is so big. Oh my gosh, do I shoot or do I not? Now you're not that worried about it.
Who cares? Yeah.
There's a possibility for them to make a little run, especially with Davison out. Will it be enough time though to really get back in it or not? Is a question. Dixon will be called for the body foul right there. Bishop into the front court. Now they get it over Pickford to Nico. Gets control. Tried to go up, had it stripped on the way up. Nolan, I think.
Yeah, it looked like Nolan did a push-up on, or a pull-up on Nico's arm.
Nico called for the foul there as he bodied into Race Thompson. Got his thigh or knee up into the body of Thompson. I think he was frustrated from at the other end, so came out a little too aggressive, and Thompson will shoot free throws. Race Thompson's going to be a heck of a ball player. I mean, right now as a freshman, he's getting some minutes and will do some things for them. But he's got a very bright future ahead of him.
He's got the height you can't teach. Your coach, 6'6". He's got big feet. He's going to grow into that frame, add some muscle, add some confidence, experience. He's going to be a heck of a player. You're absolutely right. Maple Grove does a nice job too, Jay, offensively. Really good spacing. There's a 5-second call. Excellent defense by Nolan. But you notice how they always seem to have good spacing. That just opens things up for Brad and for their guards, for their shooters.
There's a look at Ben Schultz there, the head cheerleader for Maple Grove, one of their outstanding linemen in football. And had a tremendous season this year, getting all the way to the state semifinals, and they almost knocked out legendary Eden Prairie.
Is that who won the game? I didn't remember who they had lost to. No, Maple Grove had a heck of a football run, and they got a great coach. I know Matt Lombardi, who came over from Wayzata. He's as good as they come, and really winning is a learned habit, and you got to learn how to win. And Eden Prairie's obviously been doing it for so long, it just seems like all the breaks always go their way. And Maple Grove with Brad Davison, only a sophomore quarterback, they got a good offensive line. They got a lot of players. I expect, and I said it, when I was doing the prep bowls this year, that I think Maple Grove will be one of the top 2 or 3 preseason ranked teams going into next year, football-wise. Not bad when you can be in the top 5 in football and basketball, too.
Inbounded to Dixon here. Armstrong, 7 minutes to go, trying to do what they can to at least get something going, make Maple Grove uncomfortable. Trey Tate with the 3, but way short with that one. Bishop bringing it up here for Maple Grove, and now Pickford. Nick Schroeder, I think, wanting to get them a little bit better in terms of running a motion to use some time, but not get bunched up and not be forced into some traps.
Well, this is always a tough thing to coach, because you don't want to be too aggressive, but you don't want to be too passive either. If you got a lane or you got an open look, you got to be able to take it. You got to stay aggressive, without making bad decisions like that right there.
Nolan stepped in the passing lane, gets the steal, gets the layup, and one.
That looked like the NBA extra step too. But again, I mean, that's a non-pressured turnover. It throws it right to Nolan. You can see that looked like an extra step or two, but
no, I thought it was clean actually. And now Davison will come back in here for Maple Grove. Nolan's free throw is good.
I like Nolan's game, Jay. I do. I think he's got a nice inside out. He seems like a really smart basketball player too. He's just had one of those nights too where a couple shots I think he normally would knock down and just kind of rimmed in and out.
Davison's pass tipped. Maple Grove's going to have to hurry to beat the 10 count here. Hutchison gets it in the front court. Nico was open on the baseline. They didn't spot him. Drew Thompson out chasing Davison. Davison, here's the lob, trying to go to Nico. Dixon got in his way enough to keep him from getting to it. Now Pickford shovels it over, and here's Nico to hammer it home.
The hammer. Excellent, great pass by Pickford. He could have taken that in, unselfish. And they're the big fella dunks it home, what he's been practicing all this time.
And Drew Thompson not able to finish. He thought he was pushed on the way in. And Thompson will be called for the foul, trying to cut Davison off.
You know, this was a great dunk, but look at that great bounce, great pass. And the big fella, he can palm it. It always helps if you got big hands, and he throws it down with authority. And we were just talking, he dunks everything, and that's a great habit to do as a big fella. And he's going to take a well-deserved rest. He's really been the difference here in the second half. I believe he's got 14 points in the second half. All of his 14 points in the second half.
Awashika comes back in to give Nico a breather here. 54-32. Maple Grove kind of took command of this one early and has just never really let Armstrong back in it. Davison being hounded by Nolan. A couple of guys who are fairly physical out there. Now Pickford's going to stop and pop, and he hits.
He hasn't scored a lot tonight, Jay, but he's only got 4. But his 2 buckets have been that mid-range, really pretty-looking jump shot. Nice move.
Nolan missing on a 3, and Pickford boards it, and now Maple Grove will look to work some more clock here. Davison down the middle, lost the handle, and it'll be called for a travel.
You know, they've done a nice job, Armstrong has, of slowing Davison in the second half. He had 15 first half points. He's got 3 here in the second half. Most of the damage really has been done inside out. Haven't knocked down a lot of threes either in the second half. It's really been Reed Nico playing big down low, and Armstrong just really their lack of production on the offensive side.
Lottie turns, fires, and misses, but he was fouled and will head to the free throw line. They will get Matheson with the foul. His second.
And no one for Armstrong, Jay's in double figures here tonight. Evan Nolan's got 9. He's their leading scorer. I mean, I think if they're going to look back on this defensively, I mean, they've held Maple Grove to 56, which isn't an unusually high number to this point. It's been their difficulty making shots and converting free throws and just getting offense, getting guys to create shots, make shots, and be more efficient on the offensive end.
Alati able to make a pair. They've struggled mightily at the line, but that time Juby Alati makes them both. 56-34.
They need a lot more of those if they want to get back in this game.
Nice one.
I've been waiting all night to be able to use that line, Jay.
10-second call on Maple Grove, and Nick Schroeder thinking the same thing I did. That seemed awful quick. Obviously, we don't have a shot clock in high school ball to really get a good feel for that, but I wasn't thinking it was getting close to being 10 yet.
No, that was a quick whistle.
Alati drives and dishes. And, they're going to score the hoop. A little continuation there. Isaiah Chapman, the 6'8 junior, comes in and gets the hoop.
You know, Jay, Isaiah Chapman played in the JV game prior to this, and I watched that second half. He had a number of really nice baskets, a couple of blocks. He's 6'8". He's a junior. He's thin. I know they want to put some more muscle on him, but he's got a lot of game. And, you know, if he gets some production here, this is how you earn more minutes. You know, you get a few opportunities, you got to make the most of it. And Isaiah certainly has done that.
Foul call there on Drew Thompson. That'll be his 4th. So he tried to cut Davison off, but didn't go. Davison heads to the free throw line.
So did you see, Jay, did you watch or did you guys cover the Maple Grove Hopkins basketball game where Maple Grove beat them?
Not in person, didn't get a chance to see it. No, we didn't televise, but had some highlights of it. And free throw good by Davison.
Even though Hopkins, I know Coffey, is out with the knee injury, but that's still a, Hopkins is a big name and a big game. And I think you win that game early on. I think it does wonders for your confidence too as you go into, the meat and potatoes of your conference season.
Foul call out on top there will go against Matheson as he got into the body of Alati too much. And free throws upcoming here for Armstrong, but we've got under 4 minutes to go. Maple Grove still up by 22. Maple Grove students giving them the thanks for the practice chant there.
Well, that's what makes high school basketball so much fun, Jay. It's a personal, close-knit environment. A lot of these schools are right by each other. The kids know each other. They have a lot of fun. And I always like that about basketball, too, even more than football. You can see the faces. You can see the kids. It's a little bit more personal sometimes.
Over the top to Awashika and back out to Pickford, and now Davison. Davison underneath. Awashika gets it to drop. It was blocked a little bit, but it still found its way in.
Nice touch. And I like Awashika that time. Caught it. He was ready to score. There's no hesitation. He didn't pause. He didn't move his feet. Caught and scored.
Nolan, quick release jumper there, but Davison grabs a board. Kind of an underrated facet of Davison's game. Yeah. He's had a lot of defensive rebounds tonight.
Well, smart players seem to always be in the right situation at the right time. And that's being a good rebounder is an art. Is a heads-up timeout by Davison as he was about to travel there. But it's just knowing where the ball is going to be, anticipating the next move, and he's very good at it.
You see what Maple Grove has coming up, and obviously a tough test against #1 ranked Apple Valley in the first day of the Granite City Classic up in St. Cloud. And then Champlain Park plays Apple Valley the next night. Maple Grove's second game is against Rogers on that Saturday afternoon right after Christmas. And for Armstrong, be at St. Louis Park, and then back to conference play against Spring Lake Park as 2015 gets going.
That'll be a good test. Maple Grove playing Apple Valley. Again, another early season test. You talked about it in the pregame, just more of a measuring stick. How good are we? Whether you win or lose, it gives you confidence knowing you've played against the best. And it prepares you for the conference part, the section championship, the state tournament if you're able to get there. I'd rather play tough teams early on, Jay, and lose than play some cupcakes and have a better record.
Back cut there, but he couldn't quite catch up to it is Matheson. I agree, and I also think it puts more pressure on teams if they're 15-0, 16-0. I don't think I want to get to section play undefeated because
you got the burden of that.
Yeah,
undefeated.
You're starting to feel like, whoa, we can't lose this one and things like that. Whereas if you played a bunch of tough teams, you're used to it, and you're probably going to lose a few.
Well, it's the old saying: you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year, regardless of whatever your record is.
Brambilla with the tip in on the miss by Chapman. 60-40 game. Davison into the front court. It was interesting at halftime, Coach Miller pretty much admitted that our defense that we throw at most people, is enough to force turnovers. Oh, nice play there. Awashika giving it up to Rexted. He said, against Davison, it's just not working.
Well, he's just such a smart player. We talk about talented players. We talk about smart players. He's really the complete package. He's got great skill, great, physical tools, and just even that play right there. He wanted to throw that to the sideline. Instead, he hung in the air just long enough to get it to Awashika, who made a great pass to Rexted for the layup. He's just a smart player. It's hard to remember Ryan Keating, who played for Minnetonka. He was a really smart basketball player. You see, of course, Tyus Jones from Apple Valley last year playing for Duke. And he's physically not overwhelming as some of those players. He's just such a smart player. And he can, as a point guard, you can really dominate a game without even having to score, just making the right play all the time. And Brad Davison certainly does that.
Jared Martinson back in. By the way, that last foul was on Larry Kona, number 33, a 6'4" senior for Maple Grove. Davison and Awashika sit down for the night with 2 minutes to go. Benny Williams' second free throw is also good, so he has his first 2 points of the night. It's a 20-point lead here, but Armstrong's going to fall for the first time here this season. Nice back cut there, and the layup is good by Martinson for his second field goal of the night. He came in, as we said, gave him those, 4 or 5 really good minutes.
Played great defense. He had a couple of steals, good rebounding. He's had an all-around very nice game.
And foul will be on Kona of Maple Grove.
Where were these free throws all game? Maybe they should have somehow got Benny Williams onto the free throw line a little bit earlier, because he looks really confident knocking down 3 free throws in a row.
What you said earlier about pressure being off a little bit might have something to do with that too, possibly.
Of course, I jinxed it after I said that comment. He was going to knock him down.
Rexted throwing over the top, and Kona gets the layup. Perfect pass.
A great look. Mitchell Rexted, he's a senior, he's a captain. Did an excellent job. He got caught in the air too and just threw it up. And Kona was right there. Nice job. Great play.
Pull-up jumper is good by John Nelson. Is in there for Armstrong and gets his first bucket. Brambilla up with the steal. And now Race Thompson over to Williams, and he dunks.
Oh. Williams has some hops, some bounce in his step. I didn't think he was going to elevate that high. He threw it down easily.
Yeah, I saw him in practice, and there's no doubt he can put it away. And there's a shot blocked, and a foul called though on Armstrong as Kona tried to take it inside. Race Thompson the block, but after the foul had been committed.
Yeah, just a really outstanding athletic play. And he's not that big. Benny Williams, he's 6'1", so he's got some long arms, but he's definitely got a lot of bounce. He threw that ball down easily. So I know the score is favoring Maple Grove here tonight, but in the really important statistic category, it's 1-to-1 in dunks, Jay.
And lost by Chapman, but it'll stay with Armstrong. By the way, that last foul obviously went against Maple Grove rather than Armstrong. 25 seconds to play here, and Maple Grove is going to stay undefeated here.
Well, I'll be looking forward. I think the Maple Grove Champlin Park matchup later in the year will be an excellent game. Both teams very talented, very similar too. Good guard play, have some size, some height.
Chapman missed, but it ends up back with him, and he lays it in for his second bucket. On the drive, oh, and Chapman erases a headshot attempt from Bubba Horton.
When Bubba Horton looked over, he shrugged his shoulders like, hey, what the heck? I went and took it right at him. I'm telling you, Isaiah Chapman played great in the JV game. He's been electric here in the few minutes he's gotten here in the varsity game too. He's got a bright future.
Yeah, it's interesting. Coach Miller told me before the game, he said, probably by the second time we play these guys, he'll be getting a lot more minutes. Michael Liu in there missing. He seems to be a fan favorite of the Crimson. Not able to get that shot to go. One last try here for Armstrong. Benny Williams for 3, and he hits. But Maple Grove, it's their night as they win this one 66 to 52, and came a lot closer to fulfilling what their game plan was than did Armstrong coming in.
Yeah, they did, and it really, I thought the game was there. Armstrong could have played better offensively. They would have been in this game because Maple Grove came in. They averaged 75, 76 points per game. Held to 66. Davison had the big first half. Nico had the big second half. So really nice balance on their part. Unfortunately for Armstrong, they just couldn't get it going offensively really until the very end. And Benny Williams ended up with 8 points, their second leading scorer. And all 8 of those came in the last few minutes of the game, Jay.
So the Crimson stay perfect for the season with a 66-52 victory here. We'll be back to wrap things up here from Maple Grove in just a moment.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
Welcome back here to Maple Grove. Crimson win a big one here tonight over Armstrong, dominating for a 66-52 win. Let's go down to John with a couple of Crimson players.
All right, thanks very much, Jay, with Reed Nico and Brad Davison. Brad, you kind of set the tone in the first half. Big first half for you. What was the key for you guys coming out and playing so well those first 18 minutes?
I think it started with we just want to make a statement in this game. You know, we got a top team in the state coming into our house. We want to protect our court, and we just want to go out there, set the tone early, and be aggressive, and show them what we got right from the start.
It's a December game, so it's not as important as a March game, but how important is this win for you guys?
I think it's just a big confidence boost, to be honest, to know that this is where we belong and that we can play with the top teams and beat the top teams. And it's playing games like this where you get to know how to play in sections and hopefully in the state tournament.
A little bit of foul trouble for you in the second half, but you guys didn't give up the lead at all. It seems like you got a lot of guys that contributed besides you and Reed.
Yeah, my teammates had the big time. Reed had a huge second half. Hutch hit some shots. Rex hit some shots. Taiwan played big. We had a lot of sickness too, so it was a very gutty win for our team today, for sure.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, Reed Nico, big second half for you. And talk about your play after halftime. You had to sit for a long time in that first half.
Yeah, my teammates did a really good job getting me involved in the second half. We went at their big guys, that helped us go inside a little bit. I just found my groove in the second half. I started being able to hit shots and help the team.
Defensively, I thought one of the keys was you didn't give up a lot of second chance opportunities to them. They got their one shot, but most of the time you guys got the defensive rebound.
Yeah, that was our whole game plan going into this game. That's what we worked on all week in practice, was rebounding. I mean, obviously they have some guys that are top in the conference in rebounds. They're a very good rebounding team, and we came in with the mentality that we had to give them no second chances.
Had a lot of your classmates out here throughout the game and in the post game. How much does that support mean to you guys? And you notice it much during the game when you're out there playing?
Yeah, I mean, they're the best fans in the state. I mean, they're great. I mean, they help us through our wins. I mean, it's just so nice to have that extra energy. But at the same time, since we've had all these away games to start, it's been good for us to be able to play with them. But when we come home, we know that we're going to win when they're here.
You got a big holiday tournament coming up. Talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to get to play Apple Valley, so it should be a good matchup. So we have short-term memory of this win. Just move on to the next one.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thank you very much, sir.
Reed Nico and Brad Davison, two of the Crimson champions tonight. They played a great game, and they get the victory to stay unbeaten. Jay, back to you.
Thanks very much, John, and thanks to the guys for talking with us here as Davison had 20, Nico 14, and then Awashika with 9 for the Crimson. Armstrong falling for the first time, as Ryan said late in the game, nobody in double figures. Nolan had 9 points to lead the way for the Falcons, who did not have their A game tonight, but they're still a good basketball team and will have plenty of chances to prove it down the rest of the stretch. We hope you've enjoyed this one here tonight. Happy holidays from all of us at 12 Sports. Your final, Maple Grove 66 and Armstrong 52.